Are you anxiously waiting? Are you
I have my watch.
You have your watch, yeah. You give it a good parody.
Thank you.
The essence of the health service for colorectal cancer patient is the quality control, and this can be achieved and offer the patient the best health care is centralization and the registry of the patients. And what else?
And teaching and training and teaching and training, centralization, specialization, and be patient, Werner.
We need that. No, you don't get it.
I don't care. I need the computer. So what I'm going to tell you briefly is how a small, stupid country like Denmark, 5.5 million, have changed completely in just 15 years. And this is a public healthcare system. Cancers are not allowed to be treated in private hospitals, and the National Board of Health is looking strongly upon us. And a lot of things are specialized in Denmark. You're just not allowed to do it unless you have permission, but not colorectal cancer. So I'll give you, I don't think it works up there. It's because Bill has been here with all his fancy things. Well, I can give the lecture without any slides. Do you think it's?
So he didn't use a stick, he brought his...
No, he did.
You can use the pointer though.
I have the pointer. Do you think it works? I can't see it either. Should I give it without any slides? It's, can you work on it while I'll go through it? So when I was a young surgeon, it was very, very simple. Very, very simple. I mean, we didn't care about anything. We just operated through the specimen into a box, and we had no oncology and no relevant follow-up. So where is the button here? Okay. And if you take the period from 1980 to 2000, that's part of my early part. I mean, colon cancer, when I was a junior, I have never ever operated with a consultant. A right hemicolectomy was just an extended appendectomy, and rectal cancer, I've learned in the good old ways and taking the lateral ligament, and we were very, very late because our economy was in a situation quite similar to the one in Greece. So, were we worse? We really didn't know whether we were as good as anybody else, but who cared? We were drinking and smoking and having love, and we were happy, and we were probably as good as all the other ones. And if we were not that good, it was just due to our drinking and smoking habits, right? Thank you. Then some stupid people started to measure things, and here we got a shock. That's it's data up to 1990, and you see the unbroken line is Denmark compared to all the Scandinavian countries. And I don't think it's due to changes in our loving, smoking and drinking habit that we were worse. We were getting clearly worse than all the other ones. So, what has happened since 2000? Well, one of the things that has happened, and you can go in and see it, Every year we have a 212 pages national report of what has been going on. So we know it on all cases in the whole society, what has been going on. And this is national data, high quality data. And what has happened? You see, this is a mortality rate for surgery, right? In 2000, 7.5% 30-day mortality. Okay? Look what it is now. 1.4 national data. 90% mortality in surgery. So it has dropped. And all the effect of this is much, much bigger than all the effects of oncology. And this avoids all suffering. Okay? So here you see it in various age groups. So if you take the typical case at Memorial Sloan Kettering, patients below 70, we have hardly on a national basis no mortality, 0.4. And here is those aging, you know, Bill and my age, about 80, you know, dropping down from 16% to 4% on a national level. Here you see our mortality rate. You can look into various, I just picked a few. Rectal cancer, overall survival by 2 years, up, 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 up. It's going up every year. And Werner, for example, if you take our stage 2 cancer, going up, 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 and it'll continue to go up because we can still improve. And here is within our screening program that we have just started. See, here's the survival rates for colonic cancer screen population using the FIT test. At the same time, we have on a national level, and that's one of the complicated things, trying to improve the quality and implement minimal invasive surgery. On a national level, colon cancer is about 80, little more than 80%. One region is a little bit lacking behind or maybe smarter. And rectal cancer on a national level, now 90% are done minimal invasive. So why can we have made these major changes? You should read one book, Why the West Rules for Now, by Ian Morris. If you have time, it's a fantastic book, and it talks about the advantage of being backwards. Because backwards you can make a difference, you fight, and the system listens to you. So what have we done? We have had a lot of things going on national steering groups. We have cancer groups for everything, document everything for all cancers. We have enormous reorganization, and cancer is an acute disease. It has to be managed. Or otherwise we get killed and we get measured. And we have been divided into 5 regions and bigger centers. And here you can see, in 2001 we had about 50 sites treating cancer in Denmark. That's uptake of a little more than 100,000. Look how it is now. 13 sites doing rectal cancer, and there's 4 additional sites that's only doing colon cancer. And we have to centralize a little more because you need big numbers to measure, to implement it, in my opinion. So here's our reporting that's standard. I'll just show you some old data, you know, and the standard we are changing all the time. When we are getting better, you have to run faster. So let's, for example, take a few examples. You know, Gina, this is lymph nodes. Somebody said you should harvest at least 12 lymph nodes. In 2011, they say we should do it in at least 75% of cases. Look, all units, except this one was behind. I look, if you go in and see that hospital today, no problem. That's my region. So nobody talks about this. The average number of lymph nodes are, I think, 22 nodes. Here's 30-day mortality. In 2011, they set the standard less than 5%. But we have improved so much, so this year the standard is 2%, right? So, and then the biggest thing that we managed to get through was a national cancer report for colorectal cancer, focusing on surgery for colorectal cancer. Based on evidence, we suggested 10 to 15 units. We have managed it. We have to have accreditation of surgeons, colorectal. We have nearly managed. We have run a lot of courses, and we have done much more infrastructure for research. Research in a unit must be mandatory. It doesn't matter whether it works or not. It improves outcome. So we started with these courses, with imaging, with GNAT and Leonard, Phil, surgery. We had Bill and Brendan, we had Torbjörn, we had Werner coming, and you know, Werner is a fantastic surgeon, but also, in fact, a fantastic assistant. I couldn't believe a German surgeon could behave like that. And then on top of it, we had the lab surgery to do a little bit on oncology and a lot of collaborations. So we run workshops, and one of the key things we recognize, I remember a workshop on colon cancer, just for fun. I asked them to bring in from 4 different pathology units 2 specimens, the 2 last specimens they have done for colon cancer. And I tell you, Werner was here, he was shocked, he looked as if he has been out for an accident. He didn't dare to comment. The specimens were so awful. But already half a year later, when we did the same for the next rectal MDT course, and so on, specimen, they were clearly better, no doubt. So we have a hell of a lot of things, handling. With the MR scan, we recognized we could improve the technical standards by all this on-site visit. A meeting like this has no general impact. That's the way it is. It's an inspiration. You have to go into the unit, you have to focus on what they are doing, and you have to have specialized training. We could do all that, but we couldn't improve the quality of the individual MR radiologist. Pathology, clear improvement. And colon cancer, we recognized that this was a major issue. And in fact, Werner, that was the background for the following study in the Copenhagen region, that we said in Hillerød they're very interested in colon cancer. And Phil and Rikke arranged that they should measure all the specimens and things like that, where they documented that good surgery makes a difference. I tell you the terrible story about laparoscopic surgery, the early implementation. 1996, an American specialist doing an upper rectal cancer. I mean, he's really specialized in making lesions of the ureter. He did it in both cases, but he has some variability because he did it both sides in one case and only on one side in the other case. Then what next happened, all the small units, and small units in my world is 50 cases a year or less than 100. They are small units, they're real small unit, 20 cases. They thought that they should take up laparoscopic surgery and then they will, manage to survive. They didn't realize that they'll kill themselves. And here's the early implementation, slow, and we have the guidelines, and slow progress, and then we set up a training program and things went on, and we put on, that's in our own unit. Within 3 years, having sent people out training and doing things outside, we just in 3 years, we started to do all laparoscopic colectomies for inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, and we have implemented pouches. It's standard now. Of course it can be better. Upper rectal cancer 2010, that was probably stupid. Upper rectal cancer, we are the worst. Difficult cases, we didn't recognize it, but we have recognized it now, and it's much better because you have to have scoring, measuring, and things like that. There's all these training and fellowships and younger fellows and things like that. So you should, whenever you put in a new thing, it must be structured, you should have fellowship, you should have the best in the world to come and help you, and they should go out, and of course you should audit everything. So what we did, we took Parker, Matt Parker, he was a quite famous British laparoscopic surgeon, been doing for a long time. He come and trained with us throughout Denmark. He's a fabulous teacher, and now, Werner, do you know what we showed? We showed that our plane of surgery, going from open to laparoscopic, was much, much better. We also showing that the length of the mesentery got much, much better. But then we just thought, I thought that, you know, we had to see the exact level of division of the vessel, and this can't be improved. So therefore we now, and Nick and Phil says that Robin Kennedy, he can do a real CME. So Robin and Danilo, in fact this week, while I'm away, Robin and Danilo is doing assisting 4 cases in Randers, 4 cases in Herning, 2 consultants each time. And Werner, one of the things that I have learned, he has been here before, he is there now, he'll come there and again. And now one of the good things with laparoscopy and video, we'll document everything from before to after. Training, courses, colonoscopy. We have now set up a systematic training of all colonoscopies in our region. All new young colonoscopists should not learn in the way I did it, and they should be trained in all the difficult polyps, and we register the quality. We have quality register on individual colonoscopies, and we'll give them to all of them. So, what's next step? When with the MR scan, we recognize that the individual radiologists didn't improve their individual quality. So I got a little money for another project. So we have taken 20 radiologists from Denmark. 15 of them were sitting on the MDTs. We blindly tested them if they could figure out whether they should have neoadjuvant therapy according to our national guidelines. And then we had a general course with Gina, and of course it went as expected. They didn't improve. Then each of them had honestly, from that was what we expect, but each of them had 3 hours intensive training by Bodil based on their skills and knowledge. And then they improved dramatically. The good ones were not getting better, but they were more confident, and the other ones, the bad ones, got much better. And I tell you, there was no relationship between whether you were specialized in radiology or you were junior. There was no relationship how many years you have been doing it at all. There was no relationship whether you thought you were good at it and how good you are. So therefore, you know, simple thing, we can fix it. And in Denmark we could train 3 per year, and that's what we need to train, just by having Bodil sitting with them for 1 day. Isn't it ridiculous that that's not been implemented? We do the same with, we can do better, we can do everything better. Listen, when you hear what has been going on today, all these new ways and trajectories, all these early cancers we are detecting with our screening program, many more are very, very early, and in a few years the number of cases will go down. Therefore, it's getting much more complex, and therefore we need fewer units, we need dedicated training, we need registration of all what we do, and we need registration of long-term data. Some of the things that we are missing in our country is local recurrence rate. Local recurrence rate for APE at 3 years at my unit was 4 to 5%. That's perfect. TME, 3%. Upper rectal cancer with a PME, don't talk about it. 13%, and it was 10% at 1 year. But when we did the MR scan, when we saw the MR scan, we recognized this was poor surgery, and therefore we went in to do it. We showed it to all the surgeons. Now, local recurrence rate at 1 year, 0. At 3 years, it's 6%. And at a national level, we have talked about it, it's about 8%. There's still room for improvement. People think that upper rectal cancer with a PME is easy, but they're difficult. So, don't trust anything. A CME might not be a CME, a PME might not be a PME, an extra elevator APE might not be an extra elevator. You have to check it and document it and look at it. And something that's not standardized cannot be a standard, and we can do it better. Bigger unit, getting better. Being backwards is not always bad, because you can work on it to get all these things, to get everything much more better. So instead of the old days where the stupid surgeon thought he was smart, he now or she now recognize that they are part of a team. And in my 2 regions, we just need 3 units for 2 million. Okay? But learn. Progress is not so simple. You always think it's like this. I stole it from Rob Madoff. He's a smart guy, and I'm a simple surgeon. But in fact, it goes like this. Some developments, test of time shows that it doesn't work. Is transferring your TME smart? Maybe, maybe not. Is robotic surgery smart? Maybe, maybe not. Is watchful waiting smart? Maybe, may not. You never know. You have to do research, test it, and be critical. Because sometimes development doesn't go the way you wish and expect, and you should be critical. And if you don't learn from the history, you're doomed to repeat all the mistakes. So, that's my last slide. We are a small country. We are not very, very smart. The only thing we really have done is trying to get help from smarter and better people and try to learn from TME, Bill and Brenda, CME, Werner, you have made a major contribution. We are far from perfect. We can do it better. Torbjörn with extra elevator API. We are working so much on improving the laparoscopic approach. Now with Robin and Danilo from St. Mark's, we do it with Tom Cecil and Mark Coleman, how to train the trainer to teach things, because that's extremely important. Gina and Leonard, Phil and Nick and oncology, Rob and David. So, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope you'll enjoy your life.
Thank you very much. I thank every one of you, first the attendants, those left so far, and all the faculty coming from abroad, as they've been doing for the last few years. What I want to add is to thank you again, and then last thing to thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
hopefully we'll be meeting, well, meanwhile of course we will meet and see you again back in 2 years' time. I don't know where exactly, but most likely here. Thank you very much.